What's up, everybody? I'm Jason Merritt. Welcome to another episode of Tribe of Visionaries. I'm joined by my co-host Paul Birmingham, and we also have Stephen Shakika today, and our special guest, Angel Bodon. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, another great day.
Awesome. It's awesome to have you here, Angel. Thanks for taking the time. And Steven, I think this is your first time on our show as well. So thanks for joining us. Look forward to the show today. I guess let's just kind of get into it. Obviously we typically center around real estate. So with that being said, Angel, you're an investor in real estate. And how'd you kind of get into real estate, and what are you currently focused on and doing in real estate?
So thank you, first of all, guys, for the invite, Paul and Jason. Thank you for this. Thank you for the invite. I started 7 years ago. Have an Airbnb. Bought a property in Puerto Rico. That's where I'm from, they have it in Airbnb, and I was like, okay, well, I could do that. If I'm doing it in Puerto Rico, I could do it here in Charleston. That's where I live, here in South Carolina. I found out that there was some laws that wasn't permitting Airbnbs back then. Task force. They were out there here in Charleston, just looking for people that were doing short-term rentals so they could find them. And I was like, all right, there goes that idea. But ended up looking at Bigger Pockets, and in Bigger Pockets, they had so much information, and the BRRRR strategy got in the way there. So YouTube University with Bigger Pockets, that was kind of like the beginning of everything. Then after that, I was like, all right, well, there goes Airbnb. Let's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. I got to the point that I did 3 of them, and at the third one, COVID hit, and nobody wanted to refinance. So I was stuck at that point. I'm like, oh man, I'm winging it. A Facebook university could take you so far. So that's when I started in August 2020. I joined Sub2, and at least I had some kind of information and mentoring, that I needed. And after that, everything kind of took off. So started 7 years ago, but in the community 4 years now.
And had you done any type of rehabs or anything like that, construction stuff prior to that, or?
Before, just helping out my dad back in Puerto Rico around the house. And I used to be an aviation mechanic. The reason I'm in Charleston is because of Boeing. And, if I could put a plane together, I could put a house together. That was my thought. And found out real quick that that was not, I was doing it, messing it up, and then hiring the right person, to do it. So I was just losing my time, and I was like, all right, I need help. So ended up learning, everything, putting floors, like the sequence of the whole thing, pulling permits, dealing with the hard money lenders. It was a great experience, throughout the whole process, and all of them right now are cash flowing. So that's, turned out to be good at the end of the day. But whenever the last property, which is a triplex in Hanahan that I had here, they wouldn't refinance, and that I had to take a hit on that one just to get the hard money lender out of the way. But now, it's incredibly, it's cash flowing a lot. So I'm happy that I took that decision, and that's what I want to do these days. I buy a lot of properties on the creative finance side of things. I do wholesale as well. I do buy and hold. And I'm trying to rent them out. What the buy and holds that I got, I work a lot with government funded programs, with homeless veterans, Section 8. Because of COVID as well, I learned that government funded programs are super important, because when that happened, tenants, what was that law, or what did they call it, that the tenants weren't they were under the law that they were good without paying rent. Forgot what they called it.
think it was a forbearance, if I remember right.
So yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. That after that, all my buddies that had Section 8, they were laughing at me like, "Oh, you like Section 8 now?" And I'm like, "All right, man, I gotta make sure that because I stood that whole year, 2020, that tenant didn't pay me a penny, so everything was coming out of pocket, and yeah, that made me change a lot of things to my business, and that's why I'm kind of dedicating myself to government-funded programs on my main homes.
And you're not still doing the rehab yourself. I know you have teams doing it. Did you go through a lot of different people trying to get to that point, or what were some of your key ways in assembling a team?
Yeah, it's at the beginning. I started with my buddies. My buddy put some AC. The other one was a roofer, and yeah, I got to the point that I had to be a little bit more serious about it. And yeah, the scope of work and stuff. I was like, all right, just get to work. I mean, I'm the scope of work. And after that, I'm like, all right, I gotta. When the hard money lenders, were requesting some things, I'm like, okay, this is the way it's done. But yeah, to your question, yeah, I learned how to work with with local contractors, how to do the sequence and the scope of work on the right way. And now I'm able to do flips in other states following that, those sequencing and all the scope of work. Because now, since I've done it so many times here locally, it's a little bit easier to trust people. I mean, they're still gotta make sure that everything is done on point and have boots on the ground. But yeah, I feel more confident to do more deals outside of my town or city.
Awesome. What does your business look like today? So obviously you switched from the BRRRR method into the Sub2 community, but what does that look like today? What is that last 4 years? Where did that bring you to?
So a lot of learning, a lot of acquiring with different partnerships that I've had throughout the 4 years. But right as of now, I have in Puerto Rico and here in the States, in a couple of states, a total of 42 doors. I got right now three flips going on, and a BRRRR strategy on a multifamily that we got a Lafayette. That it's taking a little bit longer than expected, but yeah, that's kind of like what I got right now. It's getting a little bit hectic, just handling all those properties because the Puerto Rico portfolio, let's call it, they're Airbnbs. Mm-hmm. So that's a different complete strategy than the other ones that I'm doing here in the States. So yeah, I'm kind of like breaking apart in different sections, just to kind of handle the business. But it's getting. My wife helps me a lot, but it's getting to the point that I'm really looking into a business operator, because yeah, I'm not. They're subject to mortgages. There's regular mortgages that got to be paid on time. Insurances, tenants, contracts. I do have some properties in with property managers, others that I've been having for a long time that the tenants are long-term tenants. I, just do the thing myself, and I, just keep them close. But yeah, it's getting to the point that I have to delegate, and it's not. It's got to happen soon because yeah, you could get burned out.
So. Obviously, it sounds like your deal flow is picking up. Where are you primarily? How are you getting your leads nowadays? Are you targeted on one type of asset, or do you ever kind of spread out a little bit?
Well, one thing that I'm doing these days, this past year was kind of a different year for Angel, let's say, the brand, because I did a lot of speaking events on the Latino side, on the Spanish side. Shoot, I was in Charlotte, DMV, where else? Chicago, Denver, ATL. I was Charleston. We did an event here as well, and by doing that, I'm receiving a lot of leads. A lot of people that are not doing, don't know what to do with the lead other than just purchase it cash. we do the creative side, finance side of things, and we're able to lock them up. So I'm getting a lot of a lead flow from from word of mouth. Let's say I did had cold callers back in the day and other partnerships that they went really well, but things happen. So now I'm trying to build my own team of callers, and yeah, I mean, from word of mouth right now, I'm still getting fed by that. It's insane, like what they call the Lanza method. But yeah, like a solid lead flow of let's say cold callers and texting and all that. I'm building that back up again right now.
And what's your experience been like working with agents so far?
With agents, I tell you the truth, man. I mean, I do work, and I've bought properties from agents, but then again, I'd rather be direct to seller. That's my personal taste. But because there's a lot of education that you have to, and a direct to seller as well. But in order to get the agent to to pass the information correctly to the seller, there's a lot of educating and a lot of what is it? They're the wall. What is it? What do you call it? Oh my God. The barrier between the seller and yourself, and the information the translation can get kind of lost in between. So that's kind of like I do work with them whenever the situation gets needs it. But if it's for me, I regularly do direct to seller marketing.
How are you? Are all the leads that are coming to you? Are you dispoing them by just purchasing them, or do you do other things with those leads?
It all depends on who brings it in and what they want, what they got going on. Some people want to keep it themselves, and I'll just get a fee out of that. If I always underwrite it, if I was gonna sell it, I was gonna sell the terms to somebody else, and then I'll just deduct my fee out of it. If it's two people, right, and the fee was supposed to be let's say the down payment of the deal was going to be $5,000 to $10,000, $20,000, let's say. So I will be like, all right, if we would have sold this deal, I would have made $10,000. So I'm gonna lock it up for you. We're gonna bring the transaction coordinator. I'll guide you, to what you need to do to your exit strategy. And then whenever you pick your exit strategy, I'll get my portion. Regularly, I get it from the down payment, or from the lending they request. So don't know if I answered the question correctly there, but I mean, it depends who sends me the deal, because some people wants to keep them, some people actually wants to wholesale them. Some people want, I want to keep them sometimes, so I just, pay them a fee. But yes, regularly when people bring them in, they just wanna, like me to teach them, get them to the finish line, and probably get a fee, or I'll buy them myself.
Do you have a specific thing, like a deal that you've gone through recently, or maybe a little bit in the past, but it's just something that was like really interesting to you, kind of hit hard, and maybe you can dive deep and give us some details on that?
Yeah. That's actually the one that we're hopefully closing this week. We've been waiting for some signatures, but I was telling Steven the other day, 2 days ago, it's one here in Charleston, in North Charleston, off of Rivers. The property, he had it on the market. He wasn't able to do anything. The property was an expired listing. The guy ended up moving. He bought the property 2 years ago with a VA loan. He ended up moving to Oregon. He ended up renting the house. What happened? Whenever it rained a couple of months ago, whenever it rains really hard here in Charleston, the house is on the slope, so the water was getting inside of the crawl space. And it was getting inside of the ducting, the ducts for the AC. So all that stuff started getting rotten. And the guy was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to Charleston and I'm going to fix all this stuff and make it better again. So whenever he came in, he took all the AC ducting from below the house and put split units in each room. Each bedroom, kitchen, living room, bunch of boxes hanging outside the house right now. And what happens? He was an electrician, so he knew what he was doing. But whenever he got to the main breaker box, he ended up calling the power company, Dominion, and it's like, hey, I want to shut down power so I can, put this breakers of this split unit, the split units that I installed. And Dominion was like, who are you and why are you doing this? Okay, let me go check it out. And as soon as they got to the property, they took the meter out of the wall, out of the property. And he's like, oh crap, now I can't really, do anything. I was trying to solve a problem. Now I got myself into a bigger one. So he ended up putting swamp pumps and a bunch of stuff. So he ended up spending a lot of money when he could have just encapsulated and do the right thing. And yeah, but anyways, he didn't do it. He whenever I went to see the house and to walk the house, he was like, man, I'm throwing my hands up. I'm not going to pay any more mortgage payments of this. If you want to take it, if I really can't do too much with this. I'm picking up a 1600 mortgage, a PITI with a 2.8% interest. Nice. The rents in that area are like almost 2,500 for regular rent. So what happens that, okay, yeah, you got perfect numbers, but then again, you got all this, you got all this other stuff, the power, all the split units around, and no AC pretty much in the bottom of the house, and all the swamp pumps, all that other stuff. So what happens? I ended up finding another Sub2 student that he's doing McHale Mitchell. He's doing co-living, and whenever I presented the property, whenever I walked the property and I saw all the problems it had, I knew that it was going to be challenging, but then the location was premium. So I knew I had all kinds of exits strategies to work, because of the location. You're walking distance to one of the busiest streets, I think, Charleston, Rivers. And yeah, it was in a great location, but yeah, the person had to understand all the things that needed to be done. So whenever we spoke, I was like, all right, dude, the property's right here, but it has this, it has this, it has that. So whenever I'm talking to the seller, to the buyer, I'm already giving them all the solutions pretty much of like, hey, you need to encapsulate, you need to kind of make another channel in the back of the house so the water can deviate and not go, below the house. Anyways, the encapsulating, the people that do the encapsulation, they help you out so that won't happen again. And after that, you can put your regular AC unit back in instead of just keeping all those split units around. So and he's gonna grab all those split units, sell them, and probably get a better deal on the regular AC and then the encapsulation. So he already got the quotes, he already got the electricians, he already got the AC guy, he already got everything, pretty much lined up. So yeah, on that one, we assigned the terms to him. And I assigned the terms to him because he understands what Sub2 is. Whenever you're assigning terms to somebody else, you got to be careful, because you're assigning your responsibility to somebody else, and like some people think like whenever you're assigning terms that it's the same as wholesaling, and it's wholesaling, you're done. They're gonna flip the house and that's it, it's gone. But whenever you flip wholesaling terms, you're kind of on for the ride, because whenever the seller that you created the rapport with, something happens, the first person they're gonna call is you. Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm saying? So you gotta be on term, you gotta be still on the mix of the whole thing. Yes, we do a proper presentation introduction whenever we close the deals, like, hey, this is our partner, he's gonna be taking charge of pretty much all the operations. I'm gonna be around just in case you need me, but from now on, report to him. And it's still, and a lot of people are going through stuff, to these things these days with Sub2s. Whenever they assign them and the person don't pay, it's like, oh crap, well, okay, I gotta foreclose on this person, and it can turn into some craziness. So you gotta be in good standing with your buyer, with your seller, with pretty much everybody until either they refinance or sell the property. So yeah. So that. Yeah, we're gonna on that one just to finish up. We're gonna sign it. We're making 26,000 on that one.
Nice.
It's gonna be a real one.
So with the guy that you had signed the contract to, him doing co-living, what was the reason why he didn't want to keep the splits in there with it being co-living? Because he figured like people that have different rooms, want different temperatures, whatever.
And that's one thing I learned out of this deal, that if because he kind of did it to himself. He called the power company, and that's how we got shut down. Like with the taking the meter out of the wall. But then again, he ended up calling the insurance company as well. It's like, hey, I'm doing this, and this. What will that change if I install these split units instead of the traditional, HVAC? And I was like, oh, your insurance is going to go up because you got more liability, you got more this and more of that. I'm like, oh boy. So that's the reason. That's another selling point for the buyer. I'm like, all right, in order for you to succeed in this property, because right now, if you keep what's here, your insurance is going to go up. So your PITI is going to be out of whack, and probably the deal doesn't work. But now, since you're encapsulating, now just putting the regular AC, it keeps the mortgage, the rent, the insurance at the regular rate, instead of having those split units. I didn't know that, and yeah, that's one thing that I learned. So yeah.
So it's more along the lines of financial reasons versus tenant. I guess the tenant's getting along or not getting along with the temperature in the rooms.
Yeah.
Because when you have one unit, like I said, somebody can be hot, the next person can be cold, and you end up like a battle for the thermostat. That makes sense.
They're gonna have their own temperature for sure.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything exciting that you're working on right now, Angel? I know you're doing a lot of like public speaking engagements and working.
Oh yeah, my son has a Christmas. But yeah, the exciting thing that I'm working on right now is to building the team again. Building another team, not from scratch, but from experience. I'm working with VAs again, which I let go because I wanted to work with other investors, newer investors. But it's challenging on that side as well. The consistency and all that. So going back to VAs, going back to a couple of sources of a lead generation, and yeah, man, get pretty much back to basics. Back to what was working. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, man. So that's this coming year. It's building that conveyor belt.
Cool. So currently, I guess with what you have going on, where are you finding like inspiration for continued personal growth or professional growth? Like is it when you come into a problem, you look for ways to grow, or do you associate it with your long-term game plan of where you want to be? How are you doing that nowadays?
Well, one of the first things that I would say, like what's keeping me motivated, of course, just for the legacy of my family. That's number one for sure. But now with this speaking events that I'm doing as well, all the people that need the guidance and the education just to change their lives, man, that right there, when somebody's like, oh, I saw one of your YouTube videos and doing this, it made me so much money or pretty much changed my life. I bought a property for my family and for my parents. I've had some people and stuff like that it's like, oh my God, all right, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Provide housing as well, provide housing to the needy. It's like, all right, that's another thing, like, oh my God, you're the real angel, I get that over. And it's obviously, we're making money by doing all this, but you can choose, you can choose your strategies. You could do Airbnbs, and that pretty much, doesn't help too many people. But families don't want to stay in a place. But if you have other strategies that actually like I was listening to Chino, the Chino split kind of stuff, it's helping, helping the people in need. And that keeps me, man. That keeps me motivated to keep learning. And another thing, obviously, since we're being active on this business, like the constant learning that you have to be in, just whenever a deal comes in front of you, knowing what to do with it or how to solve the problems, and yeah, and get it to the finish line. So I mean, that for me. I'm always going back to education, YouTube, podcasts, all this other stuff, because yeah, that'll put me in a better position, for me and to educate other people as well. So yeah, man, teaching others, family legacy, and yeah, and building, and building the team. It's like right now, what I'm trying to focus on is just to wholesale everything that I can, single family wise, so I can purchase multifamilies. That's kind of the other thing that I want to implement this year as well.
I've been waiting for you to say that. I would love to hear your perspective on how you feel the multifamily market is going to look in 2025, and what is exciting you right now. What are you going after multifamily?
Well, I'm looking exactly the need of the housing, of the affordable housing. It's incredible. So whatever you combine both, multifamily and helping out on the affordable housing crisis, that's a no-brainer, and picking them up on creative as well. I mean, it's just combining what we know already for more doors. I mean, the residential and the commercial side of things, I'm still kind of learning on the underwriting and cap rates and all that. But it's something that we already kind of know by being landlords of single families. Now it's just more doors in one location, and now you got more confidence in you. Like, hey, I could do it in this. Why can't I just do it in something bigger? And but yeah, I'm all in on multifamily. Hell, even mobile home parks. I was just talking about. The more doors in one location, I'm all in.
Nice.
Yeah, it definitely helps us having one roof on a building versus 100 different roofs to worry about.
Yeah, that's it. The confidence, you got to build it up, right? And obviously having an operator as well on your side will give you more confidence, because now you could keep looking for more opportunities, and they can handle the operation side of your business. And yeah, that opens a door for me, because I'm like, all right, let me get more information, let me get more deals, but then again, let me handle the deals and what I got in the pipeline. And yeah, having more help and delegation on that side, oh my God, that's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, I was at an event this weekend, and they were talking about just the upcoming commercial market, because a lot of these commercial properties, multifamily, stuff like that, over the past, say 3 or 4 years ago, they put these low interest rate loans in place. Typically, commercial loans are average 5 to 10 years, and majority of them are 5 years. So they're all starting to mature right now, and through 2025, 2026. And if the interest rates stay where they are and they don't go down much, all of a sudden, so for instance, if you had a payment that was $3.5 million, or $3,500 a month, and now all of a sudden it jumps to $7,000 a month, and you're only bringing in $5,000 a month. Before it was cash flowing, and all of a sudden now it's upside down, $2,000 a month. So it's going to create a lot of opportunity. I don't know how banks are going to be handling that, as far as will there be short sales going on. There's a lot of talk in the community where, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to gobble up some of these assets, because obviously multifamily is commercial. So it's based on revenue. And then once the revenue drops, it devalues the property as well. So you may be able to pick some properties up on a cheaper value. But one of the good ladies that was speaking at the event, she started, similar to you, doing stuff, but she had grown up in Section 8, and she was focused on doing Section 8 multifamily. So taking them, repositioning them, but she would go in and like make them very nice, and not like luxury high-end stuff, but she would make them clean, new paint, new flooring, all that good stuff, and then fill them up with Section 8 tenants. And she loved it because they pay every single month. And even if if it comes to a point in time where they possibly lose their job for a period of time, Section 8 will pay the full rent. So she doesn't have to worry about, anything like that. So it seems like a good strategy.
Yeah, I'm all day in Investor Lift and Zillow, just looking around and just checking out. I want to stay like on the purchasing. I want to stay in the lower and the Sunbelt states. From we got a property in Albuquerque, from Albuquerque all the way to North Carolina. That's our kind of like our buy box, just to stay in the lower states. And yeah, there's just all the migration, or most of the migration, are coming down to Florida or these other states in the lower in the Sunbelt. So that's one of the main reasons I'm picking that. And we don't have the four seasons, the snow and all that other stuff. So yeah, that's one less thing. We do have hurricanes, but they come and go though. But yeah, that's that same property in Albuquerque, in Louisiana, Lafayette. We picked it up like that. We picked it up sub-2 with a loan that has another 3 years, but still we're doing the BRRRR strategy, kind of fixing it up, bringing up the numbers. We even thought, since they're each apartment is 2-bedroom, 2-bath, their bath are inside of the rooms, to even pad split the apartments, because Section 8 does that as well. They do actually rent by the rooms as well. And we got a bunch of applications that we're working with, HUD Bash and affordablehousing.com and all these other pages that's how we're finding our tenants. And yeah, man, trying to make the most money out of everybody, out of all of them.
Now,
what's that?
I was saying that's relatively new that they're doing the Section 8 rent by the room, right? Like that's less than just a few years old.
Yes. I learned it with Chino. He actually spoke directly with the Section office in Vegas. Yeah, and apparently the same person the person that he was speaking to didn't even knew it. And it's like, hey, can I talk to your manager? And the guy's like, they ended up calling back, and it's like, oh yeah, you were right. We do have this program. Thank you for letting me know. I'm like, oh crap, you worked there. You didn't even know. But yeah, that tells you, don't go with the first no, let's say. So
I actually just had a conversation with Section 8 Friday, and then I had another conversation with the VA person, the veteran, homeless veterans person at the HUD here in South Carolina, here in Columbia, today, actually, about that same thing. About having the rent by the room, basically, for a couple of properties here in Columbia. So I kind of wanted to know your take on and how you're utilizing the veterans program through HUD. Is that a big portion of your rentals that are going through HUD?
But it's 180 Place. It's the name of the company that works in Columbia and in Charleston only.
180 Blaze.
The letters ONE, 80 the numbers, and place.com. 180 Place. And that was one thing that I was talking with Chino, like, hey, there's got to be a lot of companies around the states that are, because 180 Place, they do kind of like the dirty work for the VA. They qualify the tenants, they pay the landlords, they just approve them, and it's like a nonprofit organization, I believe. And yeah, they do Charleston, Orangeburg, all the way to Columbia. But I was like, man, there's got to be there's got to be, a need for this type of companies around, because VA doesn't want to work with this. They don't really want to, do all this work. So HUD Bash, my understanding, is another one that you can work with that has similar programs. In that property that we have in Albuquerque, we were working with a company that had all the government funded programs. Instead of just the VA program, they had pretty much Section 8, the homeless veterans. They had all kinds of other programs in one roof, let's say. But yeah, like, I want to find out, where the areas are that they need just to, I don't know, just because it helps and help is needed. And yeah,
there's a couple of those companies out there. I spoke with one this past summer. It didn't end up working out with them. They were kind of new at it, and so they didn't know exactly how to make it work. And then the 180 place, I think I've spoken with them one time before. Didn't follow through with it on my end. I didn't follow through with it on them. Didn't have exactly what I wanted to put towards them. But today I found out, about I found out Friday, I guess, about the HUD program themselves. The South Carolina Housing Authority actually has a veterans homeless program that's directly through them. And I guess that's how your 180 place actually hooks up through that. So they're more, I guess, a middle management, I guess, to do the vetting of the people that come through to rent your rooms. But
yeah, that's what they take care of of vetting the people. I do the regular landlord things. But yeah, the good thing is like the check is getting in my mail every 20th of the month. I'm not even waiting for the end, So that's everything right there. You don't have to chase anybody. I do have tenants that do have a percentage, like a 60-40, depending if they're working. I have most of them that I have are 100%, but that's kind of scary because some of them are actually like they were living pretty much below a bridge, here in downtown Charleston. And they haven't been in a house in a long time, under a roof. So they don't have cell phones or none of that. So I really don't have way to communicate with them. So one time, one of the properties, the checks stopped coming in. Like, hey, did you guys miss something? I was like, no. I mean, I haven't heard from this guy. Have you? Like, he doesn't have a phone. I mean, I don't really know. So I went to the property just to kind of knock on the door, just like, hey, man, I mean, they're looking for you. He was gone for like a month and a half. Since he was 100%, he didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, they're just paying for this. And I was doing the all included as well, all utilities and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, the guy left and I was like, oh crap, nobody would have told me. So yeah, I took, I ended up cleaning the place up, but I didn't know that was happening. And that was the only downfall of being on 100%, getting paid 100% of them. Because whenever if it's a 60-40, at least you're expecting that payment to come from the person. But yeah, it's it's working perfectly right now. I mean, I'm pretty much all my new properties that I get, I'm gonna put in that program for sure.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's helpful for them too. I mean, I've seen a lot of homeless veterans and what have you throughout my life. I've had friends that were the veterans that were homeless and what have you. It's a huge, it's a good feeling to be able to help somebody like that, because a lot of times they're not mentally capable of handling these things on their own, depending on what kind of situation they were in before.
Another thing that I was amazed of was that the one guy didn't have the deposit to come in, or it was delayed. Some money he was gonna get. The 180 place ended up paying for the deposit and the rent.
Nice.
So I was like, oh wow. So another thing was, like I told him, it's like, hey man, I'm giving you pretty much an empty apartment. Like I can, you need help getting stuff, and the lady's like, no, don't worry about it. We got it too. We get beds. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are, it's a beautiful program they got going on. So I mean, they're making money, but I mean, at least they're showing some love as well. So
it's a beautiful thing.
Well, we're running short on time, but we're gonna bring in a new segment of our show that we have. It's called Deeper Talk with the Sheik, and Steven's gonna be handling.
This new little game that actually I have here, it's called Ice Break.
oh,
So Icebreakers has a cute little thing. It's got different categories. There's several different categories. I don't know if you can see them on here, but I'll read them out to you, and you pick a color. And the questions are going to be a lot, just something different. It's going to get a way to get to know you a little bit better. So let's see. There's dreams. There's life lessons, exposed, courage, self-awareness, and beliefs. So you can pick a color. It's gray, yellow, green, blue, red, or dark blue.
Yellow.
Pick a color. Gray,
yellow.
Let's go on with yellow. Life lessons is what that is. So here's your card. So Angel, if you could only leave your children one life lesson, what would it be?
Oh my.
You could leave your children with only one life lesson, what would it be?
That's, oh man, put me in the spot. I mean, it's a bunch of them, but just to throw something on the investor or entrepreneur side of things, profits are better than wages. but I mean, there's so many things. Oh my God, that's a wide open question there. But yeah, just to kind of throw something out there.
That'd be what it is profits over wages.
Profits are better than wages, man. Don't work for nobody.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wow, yeah. That now I'm gonna be thinking about that question the rest of the day. Like, oh crap, I should have said this.
Well, and you're gonna go spend some time with your kids this afternoon, is what you said, right? So I mean, you're actually gonna be able to think about that, and you're gonna be able to put that towards what your afternoon with them. Maybe you'll come up with some really good things to teach them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had 3 minutes, and you were leaving this video for your kids to be seen, whenever down the road when you're not able to sit down and talk to them, with 3 minutes, how would you explain profits are better than wages?
Yeah. First, I will be, if you're working for somebody, you're making them, what is it? Their dreams somebody else's dream come true instead of yours. So that's one thing that I'm going to be teaching you, Jose, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, so you can take your own decisions, build your own empire instead of building it for somebody else. I mean, that's kind of what I want them to kind of learn throughout the years.
Dad, you ready?
Yeah.
Good little transition there to be able to have the kids come in. The questions about kids.
Awesome. I know you got to run, Angel, but before you go, if anybody was trying to get a hold of you, find out a little bit more information about where you may be speaking or anything else, or possibly have a deal to send your way, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, man. Angel Bodon on Facebook, Mr. Angel Bodon in Instagram, at Angel Bodon V in YouTube. I'm trying to build up that channel as well. Most of it is in Spanish, but good information there. And yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, I mean, one of the best ways is through Facebook Messenger. I'm pretty active on there as well. So yeah, man, that's what I got going on.
Merry
Angel,
Christmas.
Yeah, thanks for sharing with us, and yeah, definitely have a happy holiday. We appreciate it. And for all you watching what you've seen here, please subscribe or like us, help us out on YouTube. And until next time, we'll see you guys soon.